Welcome back. I'm Brandon, the HBAR Bull, once again joined by Zepsi. We both do some contract work for the HBAR Foundation, but we aren't doing this in any official capacity, just passing on the latest in the Hedera ecosystem. Welcome back, Zep.
How's it going, Brandon?
It's going really good. This week has been exciting. I guess the first thing we should touch on is, the Hedera Defi Summer SaucerSwap. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, I mean, my expectations with Hedera are always pretty high, but I think in terms of how much TVL has been attracted on there that quickly, I think it's definitely outdone my expectations. In the same, maybe they shouldn't have been lower given the success with Stader, but I've been overwhelmed with A, how easy it is to use, B, how much TVL there is, but C, it's like, we preach all this stuff the whole time about how fast Hedera is and, all these amazing benefits. But as the retail user, we haven't really been able to experience that. And it's like now we can finally, do something with our HBAR, do something with these HST tokens and experience firsthand what we've been preaching, for a fact, obviously we've always known that. But to get the genuine experience ourselves, from our own computer, I think that's been just so exciting.
It's kind of hard to figure out what is the most exciting part about it. Of course, it's exciting to get total value locked up. I think you mentioned that there's $15 million total value locked on there. Getting the Hedera token economy kicked off and being able to trade tokens that we might not have been able to acquire in the past. But I think you're right. I think the most exciting part is highlighting all the great things about Hedera, whether it's the speed, efficiency, and efficiency comes down to dollars and cents, right? It comes down to those low fees. You don't have to worry about gas fees and all that kind of stuff. We do have a small fee that's associated with the trades itself, but that's with just the platform. Most of it's pretty darn cheap. And of course, the security. Now that's under the hood. People really don't think about that much, but we do have that ABF security as well. I did want to talk about what are your thoughts on the fees so far?
I mean, the fact that I've got almost nothing to comment there shows how negligible they are.
Yeah.
Because so I've done a fair amount on Ethereum, on Uniswap and PancakeSwap and SushiSwap and all those swaps, all those fruit swaps actually when you come to think about it, food swaps.
Yeah.
It's like, I was doing, swapping like $1,000 or something, and there'd be a fee each time of like minimum $80.
Yeah.
And it was like, what, obviously that $1,000 is a lot of money, but it's like to take that much out of that portion of $1,000 is insane. It's like, that's just, it's not, an economy can't function on that,
Sure.
a financial system can't function on that. So to be doing these Hedera transactions and like pulling out like that's like $3.50 of yield and feeling no gas fees, it's just insane. It's like, that's not possible on Ethereum. It's like I'd have to wait, like 6 months to like even like break even on the gas
Sure.
to get the yield on Ethereum. So it's like, it's a different kettle of fish, definitely.
Yeah, if for people that want to just try out DeFi, that want to get involved with trading, whatever it is, the fees are low, so you don't have to worry about that break even that takes months to get to. Even if you're a small trader, you can break even fairly quickly. But I did get some questions. I've done a fair amount of DeFi content this week, and I did get some questions about how the fees work and how the liquidity pools work. Essentially, what it is when you're trading something, we'll use USDC and HBAR as an example. If you're you want to buy some HBAR with some USDC. Say you want to buy, you're a big trader, $10,000 worth of USDC for HBAR. The fees are 0.3% per trade. So in our example here of USDC, if you're trading $10,000 worth of USDC, you're going to have a fee of 30 USDC. $5 of that is going to go into the general treasury for SaucerSwap, and the remaining 0.25% or $25 in this example is going to go into the liquidity pool. And that's what raises the value of USDC in there. And if you're doing the other trade, you're doing the other side of it for HBAR, those fees are paid in HBAR. That increases the amount of HBAR in the liquidity pool. And that's how you earn yield from liquidity pools. The other way you can earn yield is through the farming. And that's one thing that I know a lot of people are focused on. Really what they do is they take their cryptocurrency, sauce, and they distribute that through these farming things to incentivize people to participate in the liquidity pools. So right now, you'll see that the rewards are pretty crazy as far as sauce goes. We have them either 30, 40, 50%, and some of them are well over 100%. And when we first started off, they were 200, 300%. But of course, those are going to gradually come down over time. The other thing is we also have, in addition to Sauce, the HBAR Foundation is also participating, and they are giving rewards, emissions in HBAR as well. So for the next 6 months, there's going to be HBAR rewards as well. Yeah, I'm sure you've done some trades already. What are you thinking about the returns we're seeing?
Yeah, so I think I saw yesterday, I think SaucerSwap posted that the average yield across the average APR across each farm, I think is about 130%. So that's the average across each one. So I'm currently in HBAR Source, HBAR and HBAR X. And I was in HBAR HST as well. And so yeah, I mean, so far I've been getting, just waking up in the morning, cutting off some of my profits, investing them back in. It's been very seamless, and I'm excited to leave it in there. Obviously, those rates will come down, but we're lucky enough to be here at this time, and hopefully, it's like, I'm not going to be selfish about it. Hopefully more people come in, we'll see that go down. But I think these APRs are what will attract people from outside. So yeah, they need to be there, A, to reward us for how patient we've been, but B, to attract those eyes in the other communities. So DeFi girl, who's this, she's on Twitter, I think she works for Hedera now. She's been out there evangelizing Hedera. I think there's a whole crew of Hedera in the foundation. Well, the foundation was actually in Seoul in South Korea, and they were there for Korea Blockchain Week, so KBW, and they hosted a DeFi meetup with, I think it was SushiSwap, with New Order DAO, with Animoca Brands. But there was a big crew of them, all in DeFi. And to have them alongside Hedera at these meetups, where everyone's there to talk about DeFi, for them to be there, and for for the HBAR Foundation crew to be able to go, we've got SaucerSwap now, Dexes are here, whatever Eric Wall said about Hedera not being able to have DeFi, he was wrong. Dexes are here. And then beyond that, we've then got the team in Toronto. So you've got the Hedera team out there with DeFi Girl, and they've been evangelizing Hedera there. They've been hosting, I think they had literally a hacker room or something for Hedera developers. They were packed out at their talks. I don't think I've actually seen that many people at a Hedera talk thus far. And obviously what they're talking about is SaucerSwap. You had DLA Piper up there. We saw we also saw I can't remember who was presenting. Someone was presenting. You saw SaucerSwap in the background. You saw the 10 out of 10 audits from Hacken. One of the workers at Hacken actually retweeted that and said, it's great to see them marketing us whilst they're up there as well. So, the word of DeFi on Hedera is getting out there. And, hopefully these yields, back to where we started, these yields will be the things that track them over. And then they'll see the efficiency, and then, they'll never be able to go back to Ethereum is the plan.
Yeah, and this is just the first one, right? So we have, HBAR Suite, we have HeliSwap that's going to be coming. I know there's some dexes that are still in stealth mode right now. So, those are going to have to start the same way SaucerSwap did. We love SaucerSwap, and I think they're going to be certainly one of the leaders in the space, but we're going to be able to play this game a few times as other ones come online. So it's going to be exciting. The other thing that I got a question about is, we bring up this financial term arbitrage a lot, and I mentioned it a couple times when I was interviewing SaucerSwap. Essentially, arbitrage is a way to balance markets across different exchanges. So, for example, I know that Peter mentioned the other day that when we started right off the bat, USDC was going for $1.80 on SaucerSwap. So essentially what you could do to arbitrage that is you buy USDC in one place, we'll say from Banksa, you transfer that to SaucerSwap, and you sell it for $1.80 to get, HBAR or whatever else. And that's pretty much how you balance things. And until that arbitrage opportunity is gone, that imbalance of $1.80 to where it should be, where we know it's probably going to end up $1, until that's gone, that arbitrage opportunity is going to continue, and you take advantage. All right. So the other thing I wanted to mention is, we've been talking about this, Zeb. I want to see if the community wants us to do a regular DeFi market update. We could do DeFi Market Mondays, something like that. Would you be up for something like that, Zep?
Definitely. Yeah, I'd definitely be up for that, Brandon.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
and of course, we could cover Stader right now. We can cover SaucerSwap, and then as things go on, we can cover all of the DeFi applications that get built on Hedera. All right. So the next thing we wanted to cover is the transaction volume. I'm going to be using Metrica today. We just heard, what was it, just last week that they got support from the HBAR Foundation. And they pretty much handle all kinds of analytics for the space. And they're going to be supporting Hedera now. We still have total transactions that are sitting around 1 million transactions per day. But compared to what we saw, a year ago when we were, certain times we had multiples of that. We had 2, 3, 4, 7 million transactions per day. The difference is the makeup we're seeing here now. Not all transactions are created equal. In the past, we had a lot of HCS transactions associated with ad stacks. Now we're getting a lot of NFT transactions. We're getting HTS transactions. We're getting smart contract transactions. So we're up to over 20,000 smart contract transactions. And I'll give you one guess as to where those are coming from. Where do you think?
SaucerSwap, by any chance?
I would say it's SaucerSwap. So
Okay.
they utilize smart contracts, and every smart contract call isn't the 1/100th of a cent. It's 5 cents. Still pretty cheap, but that's a lot more revenue that's coming into the network. And as we grow here, a lot of these NFT transactions, NFT creations, smart contract calls, all those kind of things are going to add to the revenue that are going to be able to be used to both incentivize people to use the network, run the nodes, and then also to be able to build out the network. Of course, those fees can be used for that as well. So what are your thoughts as far as Metrica and what we're seeing on there so far?
Yeah, I mean, I remember Masari did the research report fairly recent. I think it came about 2 weeks ago. And obviously we saw on there, a drop in TPS, as we moved into a different kind of market and there was less transactions coming from advertisement, with ad stacks, because, obviously people are shifting where their money is in their company and they can't be affording to use certain things that might be seen as a luxury, like these online advertisements. So initially we saw that TPS come down, and then we also saw, smart contracts going up at that point. But at Metrica, we are now seeing, these TPS going back up again. It's like, I think today, so today was the max TPS is 101 TPS. When we last did this video, the max one was like 700. Obviously, those are spikes, so it's not really that much to go by, but it does show that something's coming. But I mean, on average, our TPS is now a lot higher than it was. I remember we were sort of drifting between sort of like 3 and 5 TPS for a while. We're now over double that again. And that's before we see the on ramp from the Atma.io transactions, of course, where we see the consensus is still pretty healthy, average at about 5 seconds. The accounts have been going up this week as well. I think on the day we're up at like 128% accounts from yesterday, and then on the week I think it was double that. I think it was about 200% increase. That was going by the start of the week. But I mean, to see us on Metrica, I think is very cool, because they are, I think they're sort of the leading analytical platform for DLTs. And on the left currently we've got so far above Hedera, we've got someone called Axelar Network, who I'm not actually that well associated with. But above that, we've got Algorand. Below that, we've got Ethereum 2.0, which is interesting. But people from Algorand are going to be coming in. People from Axelar are going to be coming in. People who want to, I don't know what Ethereum 2.0 is actually tracking thus far, but people are going to be coming in because they're curious about that. And so we're against, and then you've got Flow coming in as well. I think that must be Flow Carbon, maybe. And so there's four or five networks on here, and it's very easy to navigate between them. So someone might come in curious to look at their Algorand network, and then they'll see Hedera and have a look and go, oh, wow, everything's ramping up on Hedera. So hopefully, obviously that'll work the other way as well. There's a lot of mutual ground between the two networks, but hopefully it's a good site, A, for us to see what's going on, B, for developers to see what's going on and pull those analytics, and also for other communities to see what's going on in our network and see, that the health is there. We're pretty sturdy at the moment.
Yeah, and the other thing that I like to look at on Metrica, since they've been out just for a few days here, is the fungible token summary. So I was surprised. I would have thought Sauce would have been number one, right? And they're just under 10,000 transactions per day right now. But it's actually Dovu that's number one. That
Oh
really kind
wow.
of took me by surprise. So I'm not sure if that's, Dovu doing things as far as their network, or if there's it's because they're paying out rewards as far as their staking, something along those lines. But yeah, I was interested to see that. Of course, other ones in the top there are Wrapped HBAR, not a protocol. Now, is that Slime World?
That's Slime World, who
Okay.
are, I believe, yeah, definitely by HTS transactions, there are our leading play to earn game. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully we'll see more from them soon. They've been pretty, I mean, I think they're catering towards the Asian market. So,
Mhm.
they haven't, the play to earn is a massive, massive thing over there, starting with Act Infinity. So I think their marketing is more focused towards that side of the world, I guess. So I guess, yeah, I think we're not seeing so much on this side, but the transactions are definitely there every day, and they've been going through there for a long time now.
Mhm.
So hopefully, yeah, we'll hear something more from Sign World. Yeah, something just more engagement perhaps with the HBAR community. That would be cool to see.
Yeah, yeah. Other tokens in the top 10, we have HBARX. I don't know what energy trade token is, but they're up there as well. And then, of course, USDC. The other thing I would like to see them do, I'm going to try to contact Metrica to get this added, is it's great to see these transactions, but I would like to see the total fees that are collected as well so we
Mm,
can monitor that.
that would be really cool. And I know that they're very open to ideas, so definitely send that over.
All right. The other thing that I wanted to cover today, a couple weeks ago, I did an interview with Patrick from Earthlings, and they offered to do some HBAR Bull Airship NFTs, and they wanted to do a giveaway. So I wanted to announce who actually won that giveaway. The first person that won, these are Twitter handles, is at GK6LON. The other person is Abruzze, something along those lines. We have Hello Hedera, Dr. Riskin, and Sebastian underscore HMAR. So those are the five that won. It's going to be a really small mint. We're actually they haven't been minted yet, and we're actually still talking about how many are going to be included. Off the bat, right, this is going to be five, and then I'm going to get one, of course. That's going to be number six, and we might do one or two giveaways in addition. So there's only going to be maybe 11 or 16 of these total minted. So congratulations to the people that won, and hopefully we can get Earthlings launched here before too long, and we can start to use this stuff.
Definitely. I mean, also, I mean, even going by the secondary market on Zeus market. I think so the founders passed minted at about 2,500 HBAR. And I think the floor yesterday was like 6,700. So obviously there's a lot of demand, and a lot of people that are clearly bullish on Earthling. So I'm sure, yeah, those what were they called? The ship. What were the
They,
ones that
they have
you
all kinds of ships. They have one for
yeah.
dropper. They have the HBAR Bull one. They have just like a generic one. But they have a bunch of different ones that they're going to be used. It's the main mode of transportation, I guess, in this world that they have set up. But it was one of the best interviews that I've done. I enjoyed it so much, and their graphics are beautiful.
Definitely. I mean, clearly everyone also thinks the same thing. To have that demand behind those NFTs, it's a docs team. They put a lot of their own money into it. They did an absolutely incredible interview with you. They believe in Hedera. Their developer loves it. So it seems like they're going to be there's a huge amount of potential behind them, and the community realizes that.
Yeah, for sure. So the other thing that the HBAR Foundation announced was support for Lumos. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Lumos is really cool. To me, it's like we've our I guess our relationship with India, which is India is like, they've one of the biggest, fastest growing tech countries in the world, but beside that, you have a massive growing startup community. I think they've had like 40 angel investment
Hmm.
companies come out of there, like angel companies, yeah.
Yeah, it's the third
And
largest in the world behind the United States and China. The third largest
that
startup community. Yeah.
Oh, that's yeah. So there we go. That's unbelievable. There's a huge amount of untapped potential there, and I think when so obviously the Lumos accelerator is focused on India, and if we can, when say you're a startup and you're looking at a ledger that you want to build on for the long term, someone that believes that has the fabric to support you, but also is, making a commitment not just to, getting you guys on the ledger, but also to the country that you operate in. And so, we've got Tata Communications, which is an absolute giant in India. We've got YPro, again, a giant company in India. We've got IIT Madras, which is one of the leading universities, if not the leading. And then, beyond that, you've got ARR Rahman, who's like a superstar in India, who's building his music NFT platform. You've got 1 to 11 who are building their sort of sustainable play to earn ecosystem. And then we've got, who else? We've got Deepak Chopra. So, yeah, so for these, if you're a startup in India and you're seeing that the Hedera network is committed not only to getting you on board, but also to the wider infrastructure of your country through, these massive companies and, the education system and stuff like that, I think hopefully that'll be a massive positive sign for developers looking at the Lumos accelerator, looking at the Hedera network. And I'm super excited. I think Rob Allen is leading it. And, I think, yeah, Rob's like, when I hear Rob talk, it's like immediately bullish. So it's like, if they've got him to, talk them through it as the representative for the foundation and Hedera, I'm sure it's going to be a lot of successful applications coming out of there.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of work to do in the APAC region, but one of the shining stars is India, and having this accelerator to be able to help all those startups that are working over there is certainly critical. But we have a great presence in South Korea. We have a presence in, of course, in Australia down there. That's certainly another shining star that we have. And then, we have a presence in Japan as well. So things are moving along, but there's still a lot of work we need to do in APAC. So it's good to see it coming along. All right, the next thing that I wanted to touch on is we're going to have another pitch event next Thursday. That's August 18th at 9 a.m. This is where we bring together startups that are building in the space and capital allocators. So, of course, those startups need capital. The HBAR Foundation is a big part of that, but we need to bring other venture capitalists in. We need to bring angel investors and, institutions in to be able to supply other capital to get these things off the ground. We had some technical difficulties last time. I know Banksa and All Star Digital, they were supposed to present last time, but we're going to have them on again since they had some technical difficulties. We're going to have Tune FM, Headstarter, Yamgo, Mawari, DT, Hash Guild, Zimbali, Nextblock, S1Bit, Haylink, and Ledgerworks. So we have a stacked crew once again. Yeah,
God, I didn't realize it was. I had no idea it was that many people presenting. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're rolling them over. We can do probably about 12, 13 someplace in there. We try to keep it to about 3 hours, and we give them about 15 minutes each. But we have another stacked crew. We already have overflow going over into September. So I think we're going to consistently be able to do this every month and have a packed crew of presenters.
For sure.
All right, so we also have the capital allocators. We have Limitless, Blue Mine Capital, Wealth Union, Outlier Ventures, Marshland Group, Pari Capital, and of course the HBAR Foundation. So it's not like they're going to be presenting to nobody. We have some great capital allocators in the space that are really interested and want to ask some questions.
Definitely, and I know, like you said, it's going to be a monthly thing, and I think the one for September the 7th is in the works. So definitely, if you're a developer in the Hedera community, you're a DApp, you're a project that wants to move over, if you can show that you're building on Hedera basically, and you haven't been in any of the investor pitches so far, if you message Min Kim, who's a CMO at the HBAR Foundation, she's bringing in all these amazing investors and kickstarting all these investor pitches. Message her on Twitter if you're a Hedera team, developer, etc., and you want to pitch on September the 7th. She's the one to message on Twitter, and she can get that arranged for you.
Yeah, you can also message me, the HBAR Bull, on Telegram. You can throw a message in our official Telegram group as well, and we'll get in touch with you. Any of those ways are fine to get involved, but even more imminent, we're recording this on Friday morning, East Coast time. Hopefully I'll get it up around noon. And then we're going to have an AMA with the HBAR Foundation leadership at 3 p.m. Eastern today. So that's going to be fun to get involved. We're going to have Shane. He's our CEO. We're going to have Elaine. She's, one of our experts on our HBAR economy, crypto economy. And then, of course, our head of our Metaverse fund is Alex Russman. He's going to be on there as well. So, if you have any questions, please come on 3 o'clock again Eastern this afternoon, and you'll be able to ask any questions you want. So the last, or no, I've got a couple more things that I wanted to go over. One of them is the tweet that Google Cloud put out yesterday, highlighting Hedera and their infrastructure. Did you see that tweet?
Almost fell out of my chair. It was took me off guard completely. I was sort of scrolling through and I was like, I scrolled past Google and I was like, why does that have so many interactions?
Yeah.
Quickly scrolled back up and they obviously not only said Hedera's name, but given us the, the tag that we're all simping over. Me leading the way there, definitely.
Sure, sure. No, it was exciting to see. It shows that Google's still paying attention. They're paying attention to Hedera. I know that they're involved. People are saying, they're it's more about Hedera infrastructure and things that are being built on Hedera using Google Cloud than Google actually using Hedera. But I'm pretty sure that there's something in the works. But time will tell.
Yeah, I think to get that just that recognition from a governing council member, it's we got it from Avery Dennison quite recently as well. I think obviously we want is to see more of that, but it's a good sign, and especially when the market is fairly unenergized, when like we've said before, it's these times where people are looking at other networks and seeing who's actually building. For us to get a shout out from Google Cloud, I think at this moment in time is more valuable than it would have been getting lost in the bull market hype.
Yeah, yeah, completely agree. So the other, of course, we want to get into the HBAR market. The one thing that I wanted to say is, in the beginning part of this week, we were struggling a little bit, and we started to recover midweek, and that mainly had to do with the U.S. CPI that came out. That's the measure of inflation. It's looking backwards. I had been talking in recent weeks about how, it looked like there were some leading indicators that were showing that inflation was starting to cool a little bit, and inflation came out below expectations. I think the expectations were 8.7 and it came out at 8.5 or 8.4, something along those lines. But either way, that was the green flag to allow risk assets like crypto to do fairly well. And HBAR has done fairly well as well, along with the rest of the market. We've tested, I've talked about the Google spike high. If you go all the way back to 2020, we had a spike when Google announced that they were one of the Hedera council members. It spiked up to, I think, exactly 8.3 cents. And I've been talking about how that could be a possible area of resistance as we move up. And we jumped up to about 8.4 cents or something, and then we came back down. So it was just a wick. So that does look like it still could possibly be resistance. Right now, we're sitting at just about 8 cents. So certainly a good run on the week. We have potential areas of support. I've been talking about 6 cents. 6 cents is pretty far off at this point. So we did test 7 cents last week. So that's a possible area of support. We also have the 50-day moving average, which I've talked about a few times, and that's sitting at just under 7 cents. So again, 7 cents should offer some fairly good support. And then we have an uptrend that we've been seeing over the past month or so, and that could offer support as well. And that's sitting at about 7.4 cents right now. So again, support there around 7 cents, 7.4 cents, and potential resistance around 8.3 cents at that Google spike high. Those are the things I'm keeping an eye on right now. As far as Stader, we've been given updates on them. Right now, an HBAR X is worth 1.1446 HBAR. So the value of HBAR X continues to go up. The total value locked on their platform is 661 million HBAR, and I'd have to convert that into dollars, but I think it's between 50 and 60 million dollars. And we're adding to that now, as you mentioned earlier in this podcast, that we have about 15 million already in just 1 week locked up on SaucerSwap. So that's good too. The APY is coming down for HBAR X. We knew about that. One of the things we talked about, I think the day before we had our last weekend update, they came out with information about the August APY, and it's going down. The emissions are going down slowly. Right now, we're sitting at about 31, 32 APY on HBAR X, but that's still a pretty darn good return. Any thoughts on any of this, Zep?
So I think, we're about 70 million TVL in total, which is, considering we started the year off at, I would assume, 0. When did we get Stader?
It was April, I think.
April, yeah. So we started off this year with 0 in terms of DeFi TVL, and now we've gone up to, I think we're sitting at around 70 million. And these are the metrics that the foundation has been striving towards. TPS, TVL, account creation, and with DeFi comes TVL, comes account creation. The more the account creation goes up, I think in the last week we're up about, what are we up? So in the last week we're up 57%. Today we're up 125%. So it's like seeing these things. I imagine they're all linking back to this sort of to our DeFi launch. Hopefully that means there's new users coming in from other platforms to come and test out DeFi. So yeah, those are my closing thoughts on that.
Zep, you might know about this. The TVL, Peter was talking about from SaucerSwap that they were working with DeFi Llama to get credit for their TVL. Do you know that if that's been added yet?
So I know there's been difficulty with DApp Radar and tracking. So currently on DApp Radar, it says about 7.5 million, which is about 50% under. So DApp Radar, yeah, 7 million on DApp Radar. It's about 15 million on SaucerSwap website. So I know there's some stuff that needs to change there so we can get real appreciation for what's going on. But I think the conversation with DeFi Llama is, I know it got initiated like 3 days ago. I mean, they were in contact on the first day of the launch, so I imagine that pretty swiftly they'll be on the DeFi Llama website.
All right. So if anything, it's being underreported. But to close things out, Zep, do you have anything else you'd like to pass on?
I think I think the next sort of, well, I guess for me, like the next phase of success will be really drawing in other communities to SaucerSwap, to HeliSwap and stuff like that. I want to be making some more infographics to try and get this information out there, but also, just like trying to cross-pollinate with as many communities as possible, trying to engage as many different influencers as possible. I've seen that a guy called DeFi Brian, I saw that he was engaging with with SaucerSwap, he was liking their posts and whatever. So hopefully, that's the sign of some other people coming in. We've really got to reach out to them, I think, as a community, because maybe that's already happening. Maybe that is why we've gone up 2 million TVL overnight on SaucerSwap. Maybe that's already happening. These things like Hedera going and evangelizing, and the foundation evangelizing is doing that. On the community level, we can definitely, reach out of our bubble, I guess, and try and talk to other influencers and talk to other communities and just be hospitable when they come over. I know that that's what we do anyway. I think yesterday I saw a guy who was like, Casey, that was it, Casey, and he, he got this very warm welcome. He said, I've just seen Hashback. I think he was developing some of his own kind of protocol, financial protocol in Web3. I kind of checked him out for a bit, but he wrote this status. It was like, so cool. I've just discovered Hedera. I've just discovered Hashback. Hashback is the best user experience I've seen in a wallet. And then he got like 300 likes. He got like, hundreds of us commenting, being like, welcome to the community. And it's that kind of stuff that we are doing. And we just got to keep doing that. I think, that is when they'll realize the strength of our community, the knowledge of our community. And that's what's going to get the next wave of users in, on top of, everything the foundation and Hedera are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. My brother-in-law he's fresh into DeFi. He's been doing it for about 6 months, and he started to use Hashpack and SaucerSwap, and he's absolutely fallen in love. There's no reason to be adversarial with any of these other platforms. They're doing a great job. We just want to show that there's great stuff going on Hedera as well. In closing, I do want to say, if anybody wants to be involved with that AMA, take a look at the HBAR Foundation Twitter. We'll be putting that out here soon, so make sure that you join that AMA. Also, next week for that pitch event, again, that's going to be August 18th. That's next Thursday at 09 Eastern. Please join for that as well. And with that, thanks for watching.